Okay, we all know short game is tough. Club selection, shot selection, very, very important for getting up and downs, limiting those really bad errors and overall just making some really good scores. So throughout this video, I want your input. I want you to tell me what shot you would choose and what club selection you would choose as I go around the 5 scenarios that I'm going to be placing out around this green right here. Let's go for it. Okay, this is the shot we're going to be faced with first. There's the ball there. It's actually pin high to the flag. Bit of a false front, so we're going to be chipping up the slope. Not much green to work with, depending on the type of shot you're going to play. So first of all, guys, what shot would you play and what club would you choose? As you can see, I'm a good 5 foot or so below the level of the hole. It's a big slope coming up this hill, and even up to around about here, it could come all the way back down to my feet. The options that you could choose a chip and run, get plenty of roll up this slope. It all depends on your shot selection, your club selection. Also, a lot of this is going to depend on your quality of golf. If you are par 4 here in 2 and you're a scratch golfer, you need to get up and down. You've got to be a little bit cuter. If you've got a shot to play with, this is a very dangerous shot, so you might just want to take your medicine and make your double bogey. So I want you to comment below, what club selection would you use and shot selection would you take? I've got a 58 degree. I'm going in high. I'm going to try and land it just into the upslope and then hopefully allow it to release from there. So I've landed that a little bit too short. I actually think the ball probably landed around about here. Ideally, hit 3 foot further, would have bounced onto the flat and then released to the hole. Probably got about a 12-foot putt to go, which is not ideal. Okay, let's go check out shot number 2. Shot number 2 is a long chip shot, so I've got a flat lie going straight up the green. Always worth trying to read the green here, check if it's moving from left to right, right to left, uphill, downhill, so you can get an idea of the speed you need to hit it and even where you need to aim. Okay, so quite lucky actually. It's probably moving a little bit from right to left at the start. Actually, then it's moving left to right towards the end, so it's a double breaker, so I'm not lucky. But what would you use? Here, links golf, you could definitely use a putter because it'll just roll along the fairway. Fairway's nice and short. If you've got a hybrid or a 7-wood, you could definitely use a 7-wood and just kind of bounce it along the turf to start with. You wanted to use an 8-iron or a 7-iron, you might land it just onto the green. If you wanted to use a pitching wedge, you maybe need to land it about halfway. If you want to be really bold, definitely a high tariff shot, and use a sand wedge, you're going to need to land this 3/4 of the way. So throughout your whole golf bag, you could literally have the option of landing the ball 3/4 of the distance, or literally feeling like you're bumping it to here or here. So you've got to try and choose the easiest shot and a shot that you're most comfortable with. So I want you to comment below, please, what shot would you play and with what club would you play it? I'm going to go 9-iron. Because for me personally, I like chipping my 56 and my 54 and my 58, but that is really a bad shot to play here, especially over quite a tightish fairway. I'm not keen on the 7-iron. I often don't tell my clients to use a 7-iron either because I feel like it's such a difficult club to strike from this sort of distance because you only need to land it here. And weirdly enough, to strike a 7-iron with a little chip and run shot and get the perfect strike to there, I think it's quite tricky. I prefer the 9-iron where I can maybe just land it about 1/3 of the way, still get a little bit of check spin and then just release out. Now, always important with chipping is making sure the club head just gets up away from the ground, so we create that little angle of attack to hit down on the ball. So I'm going to be, because I know it's more left to right at the end, and the ball's going to be coming in quite hot over the first kind of third of this shot, which is where the right to left is. So the right to left's not going to have much of an influence because the ball's travelling quite hard and fast, but it will have more of an influence on the left to right. So I'm going to actually aim just left of the hole. I've got the right line and I've nailed the shot. I've hit that way too hard I've struck it amazing, little trappy one, ball then a bit of ground. It's not a shot I've practiced very often, but like I say, what shot would you play and with what club? Right, okay, so next up, as you can see, a little bit more of a long distance kind of pitch on this one really, rather than what you want to class as a chip. It's not much dissimilar in terms of length to the previous shot. However, this one has got a huge incline up to the green, probably around about 4 to 5 feet. So it's very difficult to judge how much I'm going to run a golf shot up that bank. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to go 58 degree or a lob wedge. I don't need to fly it so far, but I do need a bit of height to get me up and over that false front. So I've got a 54 degree. I'm not going to go in crazy high. I'm just going to allow the club to kind of rotate through impact, get the butt of the club pointing back towards my body on the way through, let the ball basically land and then release. So I'm not obsessed with getting loads of spin, it's all about distance control. Really good strike. Looks good from down here. Just a little on the short side, isn't it? Just a touch shy. Really lovely strike. Plenty of height to get up and over the false front. And that kind of shooting first bounce, bit of check, and then a bit of release. Pretty good shot. I'm really curious now, what would you hit for this particular shot? Would you have run it up the bank and that would have been certainly the lower risk shot, presuming you don't go in the bunker? Or would you have maybe gone for a more lofted club and flown it further closer towards the flag? Really interested, please do drop that in the comment section below. I want to learn how your mind would work on this shot. Guys, welcome to one of the scariest shots in golf. Now, straight away when you get into a bunker, you often think of sand wedge or lob wedge, or as getting as much loft as possible to get the ball out. On this particular shot, we've probably got, what, 30 yards to the flag? So not only do we need loft to get it up and over this lip, we need length, we need distance, okay? So don't be afraid to go down to pitching wedges or maybe gap wedges or something to try and get the distance required, but also think at the back of your mind as well, and it's probably more at the front of your mind, that the height you need to get. I've got a 54 degree because I'm pretty confident I can get up and over this lip with the 54. If I use a 58, I'm going to need to hit the ball a lot harder, which, let's be honest, if I hit the ball really hard with the 58 and I catch a little bit too much ball, I'm in the rubbish at the back, and that's not a good place for me to be. So a 54 degree, I can feel like I'm not going to hit it quite as hard. Now, one of the things I would say is don't open the club face. Get a little bit of weight to your lead foot, but not too much, okay? Really important you don't just kind of sit too much on that lead foot, because you'll just dig. And if you dig and the club goes too deep into the sand, you're not going to get the elevation on the ball, but also you're not going to get the distance on the ball if it does come out. So I would go straight face club, no loft, no extra loft. I'm trying to hit maybe ½ an inch behind the ball, no more than that. I've got my feet flared open, I've got my weight slightly on my left side. I'm still going to try and get a nice rotation of my body, a nice swing, good 3/4 swing, little bit of sand. Pretty happy with that outcome. Pretty happy with that outcome. This is one of the scariest demonstrations you do, honestly, because you could be here all day trying to demonstrate it. First time, I will tell you, that's actually the best shot I've hit of all the 4 options so far. Let me know what you would play. It's the lip of the bunker is probably 5 foot, so you have to get a little bit of height, then you also need the distance. This sort of scenario can cause havoc, can't it? Thankfully, it hasn't done for me on this occasion. But however, the next one, I may not be so lucky. Right, let's get this raked and we're going to head over to the 5th shot. Okay, 5th and final shot. We're going to be playing it from up there. So ball's rolled over the back of the green. Fingers crossed for a good lie, because if that ball is lying bad, it doesn't look like it is, to be honest. It looks like it's lying okay, thankfully, because if it's lying bad, That ball from the hole is probably about 4 feet higher than it. Okay, so it's all downhill from golf ball to flag. That means once it's landed, it's running down the hill. Obviously, the ball is also in the rough. So that means when grass gets stuck between club face and ball, it takes the spin off it and sends it running as well. So before we get up there, I just want to say a massive thank you to Dundonald Links for hosting me again this week. Amazing places, beautiful lodges to kind of stay for the week, get down on the golf course, get some videos done, get some content done for you guys. They're always extremely welcoming, so all I can do is only ever thank them so much, because honestly, what a place. If you've never been to Scotland, obviously you've got the East Coast, you've got St Andrews, you've got Carnoustie. West Coast here, you've got Dundonald, Troon, Turnberry. You've got some unbelievable golf courses on either coast, but the West is the one for me. It's so good. Right, I've got a lob wedge, okay? So I want to use loft to counteract the rough between club face and ball, and I want to use loft and spin to try and counteract the downhill shot, okay? I was lucky that I do have a decent lie. If you wanted to try and play a more straight face club, like a pitching wedge or a 9-iron or an 8-iron, you would literally need to land the ball about here, which is going to be really difficult to do, trying to swing so short and so slow through rough for a short shot. That's why, again, we have a more lofted club to encourage a longer swing. The longer swing makes it easier to get through the grass, and it'll stop the ball a bit faster. Well, that stopped really quick. The lie was perfect. The lie was so good that I didn't have to worry too much. I got quite lucky there. Just before I end the video, I'm going to demonstrate what the bad lie would do to the golf ball, because it would just come out super, super hot. So if I had the grass kind of coming in against the golf ball, grass is going to get stuck between club and ball. Watch the difference here. Had to hit it harder to get through the grass. As a result of that, it's carried further. Grass between club face and ball, lower, shoots off. It's only got about 15 foot past. It's still a decent enough shot, but it's come from a tricky lie. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and again, massive thank you to Dundonald Links for hosting me this week, but from a beautiful, well, relatively cold Scotland. See you again very, very soon.